Nobody announced what was missing from the standard prepper list. No video covered it. No forum thread identified it. The gap just sat there, quiet, unnoticed, in the specialty aisles and ethnic grocery sections that most preppers walk past on the way to the rice and beans. 10 foods, found through years of research, ignored by almost everyone. Drop a comment. Which prepper food discovery surprised you most? Number 10. Dried mulberries. The dried fruit section. Past the raisins. Past the cranberries. Past everything familiar. A bag of small, slightly sweet, slightly tart dried mulberries that most people have never specifically reached for. Smart preppers found them when they started asking which dried fruit delivers the most complete nutritional profile per dollar. The answer, consistently, is mulberries. Dried mulberries deliver complete protein, not the trace protein of most dried fruits, meaningful complete protein with all essential amino acids present, iron at levels that rival red meat per serving, vitamin C that survives drying at concentrations higher than most dried fruits retain, resveratrol, the cardiovascular polyphenol most associated with red wine, at concentrations that make mulberries one of the highest plant sources available. The flavor is sweet and mild, something between a raisin and a dried fig, universally accepted without resistance, eaten directly as a snack, stirred into any porridge, mixed into any grain dish for sweetness and protein simultaneously, sealed, 1 year easily, under $8 per lb in specialty sections, protein fruit covered, now the preserved ginger that functions as medicine and snack simultaneously. Number 9. Crystallized ginger. Ginger powder has been covered. Ginger tea has been covered. Crystallized ginger, fresh ginger preserved in sugar syrup and coated in granulated sugar, is a completely different product with a completely different function. Smart preppers stock it for one reason that no powdered or tea format can replicate: immediate bioavailability. Crystallized ginger eaten directly delivers gingerols and shogaols, the documented antiemetic and anti-nausea compounds, within minutes through direct mucosal absorption in the mouth and throat. No brewing, no mixing, no preparation. In any scenario where nausea has struck, illness, motion, stress, medication side effect, crystallized ginger eaten directly is the fastest-acting natural nausea intervention available from any shelf-stable food. Children accept it because the sugar coating makes it a sweet treat. Adults tolerate it because the ginger is present but not overwhelming. The specific chewy, sweet then spicy experience is genuinely pleasant rather than medicinal. Anti-inflammatory, digestive support, the snack that is simultaneously a first aid intervention. Sealed, 2 years, under $8 per lb, immediate nausea medicine covered. Now the dairy powder that solves the cream cheese problem. Number 8. Cream cheese powder. Every cream cheese application, bagel spreads, cream sauces, cheesecake bases, creamy soup enrichment, disappears from the diet within days of refrigeration failure. Cream cheese has one of the shortest refrigerated shelf lives of any dairy product. Smart preppers found cream cheese powder in specialty baking supply sections and understood immediately what it solves. Reconstitute with water, cream cheese. The same tang, the same richness, the same spreading consistency, from a powder that's sealed in a Mylar bag, lasts 2 to 3 years without refrigeration. In any disruption where baked goods from stored flour need a cream cheese element, birthday occasions, holiday baking, the specific morale function of familiar flavors, cream cheese powder is the dairy product that makes it possible. Beyond baking, cream cheese powder dissolved in any hot liquid thickens and enriches it into something that tastes cream sauce adjacent. 1 teaspoon transforms any plain broth into something that tastes deliberately made. Under $10 per lb, 2 to 3 year shelf life sealed, refrigeration-free cream cheese covered. Now the milk that covers the household member every other dairy cannot. Number 7. Powdered goat milk. Powdered cow's milk is in most serious stockpiles. Powdered goat milk sits nearby and gets overlooked by virtually everyone who is not specifically looking for it. Here is what smart preppers identified when they researched the gap. Approximately 65% of the global adult population has difficulty digesting lactose, the specific milk sugar that cow's milk contains, at higher concentrations than goat milk. Goat milk naturally contains less lactose and a different casein protein structure, A2 casein rather than A1, that produces significantly less digestive discomfort in lactose-sensitive individuals. For any household with members who struggle with conventional dairy, including many children who tolerate goat milk when cow's milk causes problems, powdered goat milk is the shelf-stable dairy alternative that maintains the complete nutritional profile of milk without the digestive cost. Beyond the tolerance function, powdered goat milk has a naturally richer, slightly sweeter flavor than cow's milk powder. Reconstituted goat milk tastes closer to fresh, full-fat milk than most cow's milk powders achieve. Sealed, 2 to 3 years, under $12 per lb. Lactose-sensitive dairy covered. Now the enzyme powder hiding a fermentation function. Number 6. Malted barley powder. Most people have never heard of malted barley powder outside of home brewing contexts. Smart preppers found it when they started researching two functions simultaneously: the enzymes that improve grain digestibility and the flavor that transforms any grain-based food. Malted barley is barley that has been germinated, allowed to begin sprouting, then dried. The germination process activates amylase enzymes that break down complex starches into simpler, more digestible sugars. Those enzymes remain active in the dried powder. Add malted barley powder to any whole grain flatbread recipe. The amylase enzymes begin pre-digesting the grain starch during the brief rest period before baking. The result is lighter, more digestible bread from the same stored grain. Beyond digestion, the malting process creates the specific malt flavor: warm, slightly sweet, reminiscent of malted milk and certain chocolates. Stirred into any warm beverage alongside powdered milk, the flavor is immediately recognizable and intensely comforting. Under $8 per lb in homebrew supply sections, 2-year shelf life sealed, enzyme and malt flavor covered. Now the cooking fat that outlasts every other animal fat on any shelf. Number 5. Rendered beef tallow, canned. Lard has been covered. Ghee has been covered. Beef tallow, rendered from beef suet, the fat surrounding kidneys and loins, is the third animal fat that smart preppers stock specifically for what the other two cannot do. The specific advantage of beef tallow over lard and ghee. Smoke point: 420 degrees Fahrenheit for tallow versus 375 for lard and 485 for ghee. Tallow sits between the two in heat tolerance, stable enough for deep frying over any outdoor heat source where temperature control is imprecise, more tolerant of high heat than lard without requiring the specific clarification process that produces ghee. The fatty acid profile is also distinct. Beef tallow contains higher concentrations of stearic acid, a saturated fat that the liver immediately converts to the heart-healthy monounsaturated oleic acid, than either lard or ghee. The cardiovascular implications of tallow are more favorable than the saturated fat classification suggests. And the practical storage function: canned tallow sealed, 1 to 2 years at room temperature. Indefinite frozen, the animal fat that covers the high-heat cooking scenarios that coconut oil and lard handle less effectively. Under $8 per can. The third animal fat most stockpiles never add: high-heat animal fat covered. Now the herb blend that makes 25 years of stored food taste like it was grown this season. Number 4. Freeze-dried herb mix, Mediterranean blend. Individual dried herbs have been covered. The freeze-dried blend format: basil, oregano, thyme, and rosemary combined and freeze-dried rather than heat-dried, is the product that delivers what individual dried herb jars cannot. Freeze-drying preserves the volatile aromatic oils in herbs at near-fresh concentration. Heat-drying, the process used for every dried herb jar in every grocery store spice aisle, destroys a significant percentage of those volatile oils through evaporation during the drying process. The difference in flavor intensity is measurable and immediately perceptible. Freeze-dried basil smells like fresh basil crushed in the hand. Heat-dried basil smells like something that was once related to basil. In a long-term food supply where the same grain and legume combinations repeat across months, Fresh intensity herb flavor from a freeze-dried blend is the difference between food that tastes like it was grown somewhere specific and food that tastes like it was assembled from storage. The blend format specifically, 4 herbs combined in proportions calibrated for Mediterranean flavor, creates a complete seasoning from one container without requiring accurate measurement of 4 separate jars. 25-year shelf life sealed, under $15 per container. Fresh intensity herb seasoning covered. Now the Spanish paste hiding the most complex single flavor identity on this list. Number 3. Canned quince paste. Membrillo. Quince paste. The dense, sweet, slightly floral Spanish preserve, traditionally served alongside manchego cheese, sits in the specialty cheese section of most grocery stores, and is bought almost exclusively by people who know exactly what it is for. Smart preppers who found it had asked a specific question: which shelf-stable food delivers a flavor profile completely unlike anything else in a long-term food supply? The answer, consistently, is membrillo. Quince paste has a flavor that exists nowhere else in the preserved fruit category. Sweet, but not jammy. Floral, but not perfumed. A specific dense, slightly tart, intensely fragrant quality from the quince fruit that is unlike any other commonly preserved fruit. Paired with any available cheese, spread on any cracker, used as a sweet component alongside any savory dish that needs a counterpoint. The psychological function earns its position. In any long disruption where every meal has become predictable, a portion of quince paste paired with anything creates an eating experience that feels specifically chosen. Something from a specialty counter rather than a survival shelf. High sugar concentration, self-preserving, sealed tin or vacuum pack, 1 to 2 years minimum. Under $6 per tin. The flavor event most stockpiles never include: unique flavor identity covered. Now the flour that delivers what all other stored flour cannot. Number 2. Sprouted grain flour. Regular flour from stored wheat berries has a significant limitation most preppers identify only when they try to bake from it over an extended period. Phytic acid, the compound present in all whole grains that binds to minerals, zinc, iron, calcium, magnesium, and prevents their absorption. A diet based heavily on whole grain flour delivers minerals on the nutrition label that the body cannot actually access because phytic acid has bound them before absorption. Sprouting neutralizes phytic acid. The germination process activates phytase enzymes that break down phytic acid before it can inhibit mineral absorption. Sprouted grain flour delivers the full mineral content that the nutrition label promises because the anti-nutrient has been deactivated before grinding. Beyond mineral bioavailability, sprouted grain flour has a lower glycemic index than conventional flour, produces a slightly sweeter flavor from the enzyme conversion of starch to sugar during sprouting, and is easier to digest for people with mild grain sensitivity. Smart preppers who store sprouted grain flour alongside conventional flour have solved the mineral absorption problem that makes grain-heavy survival diets nutritionally incomplete over extended periods. Sealed, 6 months to 1 year. Under $8 per lb through specialty and health food sections. Mineral bioavailable flour covered. And now, number 1. The protein that stops everyone mid-aisle. Number 1. Canned duck eggs. The most unexpected item on this list. The one that generates the most immediate skepticism. The one that earns number 1 by delivering something no other canned egg product can replicate. Canned duck eggs, available through Asian grocery sections in brine or marinated format, deliver a complete nutritional profile that exceeds chicken eggs in every key metric simultaneously. Higher protein per egg. Duck eggs are approximately 30% larger than chicken eggs, with proportionally more complete protein. Higher fat per egg. The richer yolk that makes duck eggs the preferred egg of professional pastry chefs for their superior emulsification and richness in baking. Higher vitamin D per egg. A 2007 USDA study comparing duck and chicken eggs found significantly higher vitamin D content in duck eggs at equivalent serving sizes. And the specific function that earns number 1 on a list specifically about what smart preppers find that everyone else ignores. Duck eggs in brine, the marinated Asian format, are ready to eat directly from the jar. No cooking, no preparation. A complete high-fat, high-protein, high-vitamin meal component in a shelf-stable format that requires nothing. The flavor is richer than chicken eggs, more intense yolk, creamier white. Something that tastes like a premium ingredient rather than an emergency protein. Sealed jar or can, 3 to 6 months. Under $4 per jar in Asian grocery sections. Subscribe. Next video covers 10 more foods that smart preppers found in the same overlooked sections that most emergency lists have never included. Drop a comment. Which of these 10 are you buying first?